Hi, I'm Craig. Film enjoy living in England. Excited for the clock to pass midnight here in the UK, and for us to reach Valentine's Day while I'm with three out of four of my Valentines, my guys.
Oh,
I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned. Well, no, I already knew I was going to die alone, but I like to tell myself that that's something I've just learned recently.
You just brought it right down again. It was.
Yeah, well, that's how I roll. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm gonna die under your love trailer with Tyler masturbating furiously, but I will be alone when it happens. I've made my peace with this.
You'll never be alone with me masturbating, Dave. You're always in my thoughts. Constantly.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
The floor of our caravan is going to be some sort of like transparent surface, though, so you'll never truly feel alone. We'll always be able to see you under there.
That's what makes it truly beautiful.
I am Tyler Hosley, and if bullshit were music, you'd be a big brass band.
Not wrong.
I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week Tyler just reminded me that he is very often a big brass band. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Yay!
Yeah.
I had quite a busy week this week. It was a mixed bag, but generally a fun time. And that week began with the trashiness of The Housemaid, which I know Tyler's a fan.
Yes, I am.
I had fun with The Housemaid. It's ridiculous. It's really silly. And as Vicky and I were watching it, we were debating directions it would go. And as it takes one turn and then another turn, you're just kind of it quickly gets to a point where you're not really on edge. You're never kind of sort of sideswiped by it. It's just reveling in the trashy silliness, and that's fine. I think it does work for that. I don't see it having much rewatchability, apart from obviously those who are massive fans of Sydney Sweeney who want to rewatch any scenes with her in it. And
So T.
Yeah.
Just T just keeps that like on in the background all the time.
T will have this on a loop. It's on just now while we're recording.
It is on my television.
He's watching it. But she's fine. Amanda, I think you pronounce her surname.
I was going to say she's no Amanda Seyfried, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Seyfried has, I think, more. I don't know if fun's the right word, but she has the more fun
Talent is the
role.
word you want. Talent is the word you want.
Yeah, she gets to show a bit more range with what she has to do as well. And I've said before, I've said in our chat, so I'll say it again, I kind of like how Sweeney has certainly plotted parts of her career and seems to be very much aware of like what she's involved with. I can't remember if you guys saw it. I know Tyler saw the Voyeurs and really enjoyed that. And that is like, I mean, that's kind of feels like mid to late 90s erotic filler, right, T?
Oh yeah, I love the fucking Voyeur. That's so good. That is such. It feels like it came straight from the 90s.
Yeah, it's there in that sweet spot. I think Sweeney tends to know, like, she sort of knows where she's fitting in and what tone the thing is generally, how it's got to be sold, what it's going for. So, like, she's good in this for that. Seyfried is good for what she does. Brandon Sklenar is fine, and I do think he sort of does quite well to take on the role given to him here. I mean, I don't know what the source material is like for this, and I'm not in any rush to read it. I'll see the
Stephanie has
sequels.
serious beef with the author of the books because apparently she writes a lot of books and she's suspected of using AI
Right,
to pump her books out.
I had heard the former, and I wasn't sure if there was like AI assistance or if she may have been one of those writers who just churns out so many, but the quality level is wildly varying. That's what I kind of assumed from that number. But yeah, I mean, it's trashy fun. I'll never rewatch it. We had some fun while it's on. Now, Dave kind of warned me last week, but I watched Song Song Blue, and I still haven't seen the documentary. I'm sorry, Dave. The film has me intrigued to see a documentary. I enjoyed the film. I liked Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson in the central roles. I think it is quite right that Hudson's getting, more of the praise from the conversation that I can sort of hear going through the sort of film fan spheres. She's great because Jackman can do the song and dance man thing in his sleep, really, and he's not adding much to that. Whereas Hudson, she like matches him and shows that she can do it all. And I think she's really good. The film has a couple of issues in terms of it doesn't always really give you a good idea of how much time is supposed to have passed. And I believe for the film compared to the documentary, they've really kind of truncated the timeline. But you still you just don't get as much of an idea of like how long certain periods are going for, especially when the central duo achieve a bit of success. And also, there are things here that I looked up, and there's at least one moment that it just feels ridiculous, a complete contrivance, but it's one of the real moments from the story. So that's working against it slightly. It's just that truth stranger than fiction kind of thing. That's it. But it's a decent film. It unsurprisingly has a good soundtrack, I think. It's a story of a couple who get together and want to be this great tribute act performing the songs of Neil Diamond, specifically. And yeah, we were listening to a lot of Neil Diamond songs after this, after being reminded of how many bangers Neil Diamond has in his catalogue. I watched F Valentine's Day, also known as Fuck Valentine's Day, or F ** K Valentine's Day. That's a kind of anti-rom-com. Did any of you guys rush to watch this yet?
Mm-mm.
I have not.
No.
Well, not. For some reason, I thought Tyler might have rushed to watch it. Yeah, I don't know. I think Virginia Gardner, who's the leading lady here, is the sort of person who might have been in movies or just appeals to Tyler.
She in the first of the Halloween reboot trilogy. She's the babysitter.
Is she T? Is she?
Yes, that is her. She's the one that was babysitting the one kid in the house.
Yeah,
Yes,
and she's in The Fall as well, or Fall.
Well, there you go. She plays Gina, who is born on Valentine's Day, hates Valentine's Day because all of her birthdays have heart-shaped things, and it's all about people being in love with one another, and she just hates it. So one evening she orders a pizza, and it comes in the shape of a heart because it's Valentine's Day. So she rants at the pizza delivery guy, played by Jake Cannavale, and then for apologizing for ranting at him, gives him a travel gift voucher she got from her mum, which she thinks is $50. It's actually $5,000. So he eventually goes on holiday with that a year later because he's waited, thinking she gave him too much by mistake. Which by then, Gina is away on holiday to that same place with her boyfriend Andrew, played by Skylar Astin, who's so bland and just crushingly dull. But she thinks he's planning to propose to her on Valentine's Day, and she does not want that. So hijinks ensue. Like it's not a good film. It's not terrible in some ways.
Wait. Show of hands. Who's surprised by that? Just from the title. Right.
I was hoping
But
it would be
the
like
title is on Amazon Prime. It's a Prime original, and Kevin has watched it. That's the triple threat,
that's fair.
as it were.
But you know, she is like her character. The central character is defined by the fact that she hates Valentine's Day and she's really good at lying all the time. Just come up with lies. That's her character. Her boyfriend's character is defined by the fact that he doesn't like to lie, and that's kind of it. Oh, he likes 80s movies, like some classic movies. That's it. It's not good, and none of these characters are people that you want to see like have anywhere close to a happy ending. Just be like, turn this around and make it some kind of flip side to Greenland or The Day After Tomorrow. Have these people in peril, and I might enjoy it by the time it gets towards the end credits. But it's not that kind of film. It's not twist anything. It's not good. It was below average, is what I'll say, because really, really not good was the 2025 Anaconda. And I mean, I got bonus points this past week because this was Vicky's choice. And I spent the last half hour turning to her saying, "Are you having fun, babe? Are you glad that you decided we should watch Anaconda?" And she was just rolling her eyes and she's like, I really shouldn't have picked this. I'm like, no, you shouldn't have. But you did, and now we're watching it till the bitter end. I mean, Anaconda is just really bad. I like Jack Black in the right roles. I like Paul Rudd. Thundry Newton is good in the right role as well. Steve Zahn is fun. I like him. I just... I really came close to hating all of them in this. Steve Zahn is still fun. He is fun in this film. He's more fun than any of the others, just with the silly sort of nature of his character. The special effects, I guess they're okay, but I was actually watching this thing thinking, oh, were the special effects in the original Anaconda really that bad anyway? And in my mind, I know there's some really dodgy special effects in Anaconda, but it's also got the benefit now of nostalgia and the fact that I'm watching a film with the same title that is a lot worse than that. I'm just like, yeah, I could put up with some dodgy, varying special effects and John Voight's brilliant accent work rather than have to sit through this. Also, I mean, it just made me want to rewatch Tropic Thunder, because the central conceit of like these people going out into the Amazon to make their own film, and Paul Rudd is the actor who is quite easily able to overdo things and ham things up when he's acting. Yeah, it's not used well enough. And I was really spending most of it thinking, yeah, I could really do with rewatching Tropic Thunder right about now. Like, it's been too long since I've rewatched Tropic Thunder, and that's funny, and I enjoy that. But no, I had to watch Anaconda to the end. It's bad. Please tell me you didn't rush to the cinema to see this.
I have not seen it. I mean, I'll watch it eventually, but I'm not in any rush. I love the Anaconda movies, but I have no interest in that fucking movie for some reason. Just none.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I mean, like, I honestly, I can't remember my proper rankings, but yeah, whether or not you sort of can tolerate them, we know there's a a line going downwards through the Anaconda series, through the sci-fi original sequels, and like Lake Placid versus Anaconda, whatever it is.
Yes.
But like this may be worse than all of them because just because of the resources it has as well, and then it just does a big wet fart for about 100 minutes. That's me ending on a wet fart Anaconda.
So I went to the theater twice this week. I saw Send Help. That was a blast. It has some really fun, just pure Sam Raimi moments, just bloody fun. I mean, the blood is all CGI, so just it's not the greatest CGI blood, but it's fun. It fits the vibe of the movie. Richard McAdams is amazing though, just fantastic. And Dylan O'Brien is really good too. We just talked about Dylan O'Brien and Pony Boy. He's fucking great in this as well. I love the whole back and forth power dynamics of the two. It's so good. It's probably Raimi's best in years. Probably, I'm a fan of the Spider-Man movies, so I would say it's his best since like Spider-Man 3. So, because I hated Drag Me to Hell. I know people love that movie, but I fucking despise that movie. But this is definitely his best like horror thriller in a long time. It's good stuff. Um, I went to the theater again and I saw The Strangers Chapter 3, which look, I really like this one. I learned this week that I just really enjoyed the Strangers movies. Like I just enjoy them all, every single one of them. The first one, Pray at Night. Chapter 1 is just it's not great, but it's fine. Chapter 2 was fun. But Chapter 3, I think, is one of the best Strangers movies that we've gotten so far. It goes Rob Zombie's Halloween with some of the backstory stuff, but it's all told in flashback. Which I actually really liked. It has some great needle drops too. Even a Knights in White Satin one, like H2, which kind of shows you that either Rennie Harlan or the writer of this movie really likes Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I guess is a plus for me. But I don't know. I was satisfied with the ending, and Richard Brake has a big role in it, which is always a plus. So yeah, I enjoyed The Strangers Chapter 3. Your miles will vary though if you liked Chapter 1 or Chapter 2. So yeah. But besides that, I wanted another TV show to watch, so I went on the internet and I looked up shows that are similar to Euphoria. And the interweb gods recommended a show called Elite, which is on Netflix. And yeah, it's definitely my vibe. It's just bad teens in a private school doing drugs and having sex for the first 3 episodes. So yeah, I can't really judge the show. The first 3 episodes are good, but I like it so far. And that's me.
I watched a lot of weird shit. Where should I start? I watched the 2025 live action adaptation of the manga Under Ninja. It's directed by oh, why did that change? Yuji Fukada, who we have watched other things by him on here. He directed can you guess, Kevin? Do you want to guess what he's directed?
Is it Hentai Cayman?
Hentai Cayman 1 and 2, yes. I enjoy his stuff generally. He did Once Upon a Crime, which you can watch on Netflix, which is a lot of fun. Killa was big into that like 2-3 years ago. I like his stuff isn't great, but it's all enjoyable. So this is exactly that. It's enjoyable. It's his go-to cast doing ridiculous anime shit live action, and it's fun. It's cheap. The wigs are cheap, but the fights are good. It looks nice, and the cast is game. And that's, you know what? Sometimes that's all I really want. I watched the 1998 Japanese supernatural horror film and sequel to Ring, Spiral. I prefer Spiral over the Ring 2 or Ringu 2. I just like. Okay, Razin/Spiral does weird things. It goes to an all new place. It does not really jibe with the first movie, but it's interesting and different. And yeah, it's probably best that they didn't do the loop to, you know, follow up, because that would have just made everybody angry. But I like it. I think it's a solid and interesting film, even if it didn't, you know, make a lot of money or get continued and was almost completely and totally written out. Until which one is it? Sadako, I think Sadako 3D actually ties into Spiral and not the previous series. So, you know, that's a weird thing to do. Anyway, I also saw the 2025 Sword and Sorcery film Red Sonja. It's directed by J.M. Bassett, who also directed Death Watch, Wilderness, Solomon Kane, and the ridiculously painful Silent Hill Revelation. It's not good, but I didn't hate it. I liked Matilda Lutz as Red Sonja. The rest of the cast is fine. There's a little part with for Rona Mitra. Robert Sheehan is a fun villain. I'm going to say her name wrong. Wallace Day is fine. It looks okay. It's got cheap effects, but the action scenes are fun. The CG is not great. The problem is the script is bad. The script doesn't really bring her out the character. It's a little too wishy-washy with how they present her. Instead of being, you know, a consistent character, she changes depending on what they want to have happen in the scene. And a lot of it feels wrong and poorly done. And then the story itself is not good. They like to say that this character is based on a creation of Robert E. Howard, and it's not. Robert E. Howard did have a Red Sonja, but the name was spelled differently, and it's a totally different character that's in, I think, 1940s Poland. Maybe earlier. Maybe it's I guess it's 1920s Poland, because Howard was dead before the 40s. But this version was created for the Conan comics in Marvel in 1990 or 1973, and this version is from the mid 2000s reboot, originally written by Gail Simone. And instead of just doing Gail Simone's story arcs, she did 4, I think, which are really, really fun and should have been what were done. Or I think Mark Russell followed it, and his were really good, and they've been going pretty steadily the past 13 years or so. Tons of fun stories they could have pulled from it. Instead of doing one of those, they made up an original story, and the original story kind of really sucks. It doesn't do anything fun. It doesn't do anything interesting. And they leave it to the actors and the stunt choreographer to make something fun, and they do their best, but they're really left out in the wind on this. It needed a better screenplay. It needed somebody that would sit down and do a solid story with this character, and they didn't. Instead, they just kind of did whatever popped into their head, sometimes doing some hippie trippy shit, and they didn't even commit to a feminist messaging or anything. It's all just kind of a wet fart on that level, and it's a shame, because this could have been a lot of fun. This should have been a lot of fun, and instead it's just kind of there. It's not terrible. If you want a boob and blades movie, you can do worse. It's just not as good as it should have been. I haven't seen the new Deathstalker yet. I really want to. It's just when it came out, I couldn't get out to see it, and I just kind of slipped my mind. So hopefully I'll get to that this weekend. And I finished off my week with a 3-hour documentary about the direct-to-video erotic thriller boom from the late 80s to mid 2000s. It's called We Kill for Love. I loved this. I thought this was fantastic. As you know, I'm not really a big fan of the overtly long genre films that have been a thing for the last 15 years. I think a lot of them, especially Into Darkness, they're just boring and long, and they don't say or do anything interesting with the topic.
This one, on the other hand, loads of special features, awkwardly stitched
together. Exactly. This, on the other hand, it does have that feel to an extent. but it's made by somebody that really understands the subgenre. So there's some narrative bits that just feel spot on. There's some really good interviews. They talk to a lot of the directors and leads from a bunch of them, and they're really, like, a lot of them say some really interesting things that are really worth hearing. It's really good. It is well worth it if you have any interest in it. They don't even address it as a guilty pleasure. They just address it as a pleasure. And, you know, I think it's worth watching if you have a passing interest. There's interviews with Fred Ray Olin, which are really good. Andrew Stevens has some interesting things to say. Jim Wynorski is always, you know, someone with things on his mind. And oh crap, I can't remember his name, but one of the directors, just like his thoughts on it are so good, like so good. It is worth watching if you're like me and you grew up when these were big and they were on TV all the time and you couldn't avoid them. It's a blast. Also, I think we might have to do a Monique Parent special at some point. Just putting that out there. That was me.
Oh, okay. I watched the 2022 analog horror movie The Children Under the House, which Stephanie dug out for us. She'd seen good reviews on all over Letterboxd, and we thought we'd give it a go. It's very low budget, and it's filmed in an interesting way. It's basically a voiceover, on-screen text, and children's drawings. So there are no actors on screen. We are just told the story of a child therapist speaking to a young girl about her imaginary friends who, you know, are causing mayhem in our house. And I was in for the first 2/3 because because of the way it's put together, it really fires up your imagination. And everything felt a lot more. The emotions felt a lot more real. Like I was really, really invested in this film for the first 2/3, and it kind of lost its way in the third act because I think it's such a creative way of making a film on like no budget whatsoever, but it wants to have a kind of it wants to have a third act like any other supernatural horror movie, and the only way I can think of to do that is to just have a lot of voiceover describing what happened, and it just becomes a bit of a drag. So like for the first 2/3 it's really good. Third is I'm going to complete the Wet Fart trilogy. So it was bit of a wet fart in the third act, but I recommend going on YouTube because I think it's only available on YouTube for Children Under the House and giving it a go because it's a unique film made with absolutely no money at all, but it's interesting. People might get a bit more mileage out of it than me because I don't know. I'd kind of got myself quite hyped for it because I like the idea of it so much, and the third act just kind of let me down. But it's worth giving it a go. Anyone seen that?
I have not.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe give it a go sometime if you've got an hour and 20 minutes spare.
It's in the stack. I just,
Yeah.
You said
solid
good
stuff.
things, Craig, and then said, but I'll help complete the Wet Fart trilogy. And then you're like, give it a go.
I don't know. It just let me down in that final third because it did not know how to carry on the concept into that third act and into the conclusion. It didn't know how to make this film conclude without just describing what happens, with the voiceover. And it's not an inventive way to cap off what has been quite an inventively crafted film. So it's a bit of a shame, but it's definitely worth a look. Then I watched the 2024 martial arts thriller Life After Fighting. Um, I really like that. I'd heard. I've got a bunch of friends on Facebook who they love their martial arts films, and they always they'll always post about the good ones each year and the ones you really want to dig out for the straight to streaming or direct to video kind of fight movies. Life After Fighting it's it could be an ego project because it is directed, written by, and it stars an Australian martial artist called Bren Foster, who is he's been a bad guy in a few like Steven Seagal films and various like low budget American action movies. But this is his first project where he is the lead, and it's really 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 good. Like the fight sequences in this are really really fantastic. As a fighter, as a movie fighter, he's got quite a lot in common with Scott Adkins. So there's a lot of just absolutely insane kicks and flips and all sorts of things that you wouldn't think like a 45-year-old man was capable of. But he really does mess a whole bunch of people up in this movie. I had a really good time. Like, people have complained it's too long because it is about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and while I agree it is too long, the action scenes are long. Like the last 40 minutes of this film is just a fight sequence of the main character up against a slew of bad guys, and it goes for 40 minutes without a break, and it's pretty fantastic. So while the movie's a little bit too long, like you couldn't have those action scenes and have a 90-minute movie without removing every part of the plot. You'd have to remove the story completely, and it would just be a succession of fight scenes. So, I understand why it is as long as it is. It's the plot is basically a martial arts instructor versus child sex traffickers, which it had me worried because you think you're going to get some sort of right-wing propaganda vehicle, but it's basically like Bren Foster wanted to have bad guys who are just so unremittingly awful that you won't mind that he does horrific things to them for the whole last 40 minutes of this film, and it's just very very satisfying. So like if you like Scott Adkins, the Scott Adkins films that feel like throwbacks to the 90s, but with the fight sequences of the modern age, then Life After Fighting is well worth your time. And I hope Bren Foster does some more stuff because the dude he sure can kick a bunch of people in the face, real good. Anyone seen that?
I have not.
Yes.
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 Yes. Did you enjoy it?
Yes. I generally like him, except when he shows up in Steven Seagal movies.
Well, no one wants to do that. No one wants to fight Steven Seagal while he's sat in a lazy boy. It's it's not fun. It's not fun for anyone.
Yep. Yeah, no, I did like that one because I think that's the one he directed himself. And you might have said that, and I just went out one ear and went through the other. So
yeah, I think he spent a lot of time
whatever.
in America, and his career wasn't taking off in the way that he wanted. So he back to Australia, and he got to make. He's a like very celebrated martial artist, and in Australia. So 90% of this film takes place in his own dojo. So he really knows how to keep the budget nice and trimmed, and the locations. There are 2 locations in the entire film, and he just does he just wanted to show what he could do. It was one of those it's almost like a show reel of a movie, and it's a really good show reel of a movie, even though he's been around for a little while. And then last one, my son has decided to watch the Mission Impossible series from the start. He watched the first one. I didn't know he was watching them, so I didn't get to watch the first one with him. But I was eager to watch the second film with him because I kind of love Mission Impossible 2. I recognise all the things that are bad about that movie. The pacing is bad. Tom Cruise has never had sexual chemistry with an actress in his entire life. So the fact that, it all hinges on a romance that just doesn't exist and then is full blown within the first like 10-15 minutes of a film is ridiculous. And for a film that is so like thoroughly unserious, it's also like really lacking in actual humor, which is odd. But you know, I love the way that John Woo does that kind of. I love the way his American films, especially, do just kind of insane operatic melodrama. Like, it is ridiculous. It is so overblown and just silly and so much fun. And the action sequences are a blast. I think it's Woo's weakest American film. Well, actually, no, it's not his weakest American film because there's stuff like Paycheck. But out of his first four, you know, Mission Impossible, Hard Target, Face Off, and Broken Arrow. Out of those four, it's the weakest. But I always have a good time in Mission Impossible 2 because it is unapologetically stupid and just great fun. I think after Mission Impossible 2, the series just is much stronger than it is for the first two parts. But I always have fun because John Woo, even, you know, with his one hand tied behind his back, will make some fun, goofy shit. And I know you've all seen that. I know that. And that's me for the week.
This week, we saw the 1989. I don't know how to describe it. Sci-fi adventure film? No. Anyway, we saw a 1989 movie by independent auteur Michael J. Murphy, and a 1999 romantic comedy from Greg Araki, Splendor. I didn't say the Michael J. Murphy movie. It was Moonchild. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me this evening. And Greg Araki's 1999 film Splendor. See, I can speak. Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Sure. I will begin with Tyler's pick, Greg Araki's Splendor. I mentioned this last time we covered an Araki film, which was Doom Generation, and I remember saying to you guys, like, I've seen Mysterious Skin many times. It is probably in my top 10 movies of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. But people have told me over the years, like, don't ever expect another Mysterious Skin. Araki has not made another Mysterious Skin. He will not make another Mysterious Skin. Don't expect that from him. So when I saw Doom Generation, yeah, that's just so radically different from Mysterious Skin. And now we've done Splendor, and apart from a few like similarities, this is another one that is radically different from the other two films of his I've seen. But even though it's very, very different to them, there are strands between this film and Doom Generation where I feel like I'm starting to get Araki now, what he does. And so you're going to hear the word zeitgeist a lot. I don't want to keep. I don't know how many times you're going to hear it. Probably too many. It's in my notes 400 times. So if anyone wants to keep track, but I feel like Araki makes, at least for these two films, he makes these films kind of on three different levels. Like the first is, you know, you want to get your film funded, so you'll make something that is in the cultural zeitgeist. You know, just something he knows that will sell, and you can enjoy it on that level, like on the surface level, and it works and it's fine. And then on the second level, he likes to sneak in a certain amount of like Iraqi kind of transgressive sexual politics and weird shit. He likes to work out how much he can squeeze in without, you know, blowing his cover. You know, of you know, the part one, the mainstream elements, and then you get to the third part where it's like he's making quite a sly parody of the thing that the first part, you know, the I'm confusing myself here, but you know, there's the first part, the second part, and the third part. And the third part is that he's making a sly parody of the first part, this kind of mainstream film, and that's the element of Araki that I really like, because I watched. I got about halfway through this. I thought that this absolutely has to be, at least partially, a direct parody of like Sex and the City. Like it has to be. And then I looked up Sex and the City, and then only one season had been out by when this was made. And the first season of Sex and the City is nothing like the later ones. It tries to be more of a grown up kind of lady Woody Allen, you know, city comedy kind of deal, and it hadn't become the monster yet, the awful monster that Sex and the City became. So I thought, well, okay, Splendor really can't be parodying it. I mean, that's the simplest shit. The simplest shit is that the simplest explanation is I'm seeing stuff in this movie that isn't there. But then I thought about it more, and I thought, what I think it is, especially with how I saw Doom Generation, Araki has his finger like so on the pulse of popular culture that I feel like he parodies this shit in real time. He's not coming after the fact. He's seeing this stuff unfold in popular culture and just general culture. And so as like pop culture is birthing, the Carrie Bradshaw era, Araki already has his kind of cinematic answer to it and his cinematic comment on it as it happens. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but it kind of solves some of the problems I would have with this film if I didn't feel this kind of parody element of it, because I would have really disliked Kathleen Robertson's like character and performance, but I don't think I'm meant to like her. I think she's just it's all just very kind of vapid. It's the vapid you can have it all narcissism of Carrie Bradshaw. I would have been bothered to like all the side stories, like with the two boyfriends and the best friend, like they're way more interesting. But I feel like that's the point, Someone's been put front and center. The least interesting character has been put front and center, while more interesting things are happening with the background characters. It's yeah, I don't know whether I'm making this up or whether it's just something I've seen in the film after the fact, but that's what I liked about it. It really did seem like a winking comment on a certain era as it happened, which I thought was really, really smart. And I liked all the performances. I thought they were really good. I thought they were really strong. I didn't like Eric Mabius because I never do, and he shouldn't really be brought into the film to complicate matters. You're not going to be like, oh no, maybe I should go out of Eric Mabius. No, that's never happening. But it's I can see watching it on that first level of it's just a rom-com and enjoying it, and I can see watching it on the second level of it's an Iraqi rom-com and enjoying that. But the parody element, which I may be just pulling out of my arse, is what really makes it work for me, and that's what made Doom Generation really work for me. So I don't know if that's a continuing thread through his films, but it's something that I really enjoy, and I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I think it's kind of like I think it's kind of Iraqi's Hairspray, his version of John Waters' Hairspray, in that it's quite fun and light on the surface. But if you want to like dig around in it and what it may or may not be trying to say, it still has that subversive streak running through it. But I really liked it. I liked the cast. I thought the script was really funny. The line that what was that line? Well, Bjork has a kid was just an absolute banger of a line, and I just think it's a really, really interesting take on vapid, narcissistic leading characters in movies, and yeah, it was good stuff. I enjoyed it. Maybe for reasons that I've made up.
I wish I felt those reasons when I was watching it. I do, but I didn't. I mean, Araki does often parody things. Doom Generation is a parody. I don't think it's as successful as some other people, but I understand it. This one, on the other hand, is 92 minutes of sitcom filler.
Sitcom as well is another thing I think it's parodying. I think it's parodying like the rise of stuff like Friends and how narcissistic characters were in the 90s. There was a real like
which is possible, But my problem is I have to endure the parody, which I don't think works with Kathleen Robinson's Veronica. Every time we go to that stupid confessional scene, which I understand they're mocking things, it's just not funny. There's not a single bit of that couldn't be removed from the film and improve it. It's filler. And it's not funny filler. I do think there's some great scenes. I think Jonathan Schreck and Matt Kessler and Kelly MacDonald are really good. They bring it every time they can, and they're not allowed to bring it because most of the fucking movie revolves around Eric Mabius being horrific and Kathleen Robinson being bad. Sure, she's cute. I could even understand how her character is potentially a parody of TV characters at the time. I mean, she is straight up Will and Grace being absolutely horrific, but the problem is it's just a little bit too early, I feel, to be a spot-on parody of the characters you think it's going after. So instead of reading it as a parody, I feel as her just being the leading edge of the horror show that was to come in sitcom history. And that's the problem. When she's not on screen, the scenes with just Jonathan Schreck and Matt Kessler, I think, are really good.
Those two are adorable.
I loved them together. If they kicked her out and it was just them, I'd have been on board. I'd been like, yes, please. But it doesn't happen. Instead, we spend most of our time with Veronica, who does nothing, brings nothing, and is nothing, and just isn't funny. I don't mind Kathleen Robertson and other stuff. I've enjoyed her in some other things, including the old. Do you remember the old Maniac Mansion TV show? It had it was created and written by Eugene Levy, and it starred what's his name, Joe Flattery. I remember it. I have a soft spot for it. But I'm old and maybe slightly brain damaged. I don't mind her as an actress. I just think in this film she is insufferable, and the problem is there's so much insufferable between her and Eric Mabius, and we have to wait 20 or more minutes for the not insufferable people to show up. It absolutely wastes Kelly and MacDonald. I think if they'd switched Robertson and MacDonald, this film would be immediately improved instantly.
Her English accent feels it feels like a targeted insult. To be honest,
I believe it is a targeted insult because, well, y'all deserve it.
Yeah,
especially coming from a Scottish person. I mean, I'm just saying, putting that out there. There's bits I like. I like the representation. I like how it's made. Like, it's well filmed. There's some fun television-esque shots. I get Craig's reading. The more I think about it, I just wish I agreed more, because the problem is it is too early for what it's you think it's parodying. And I get maybe Araki does have his finger on the pulse more than anyone else ever. But having to deal with Kathleen Robertson and Eric Mabius together and only together for 35 minutes is just too much for me. And it should be too much for any reasonable human being.
Eric Mabius. I can't believe he was ever.
Also, how the fuck do they not identify a Prince Valiant wig? That is a fucking Prince Valiant wig. It's a Prince German wig. What the fuck is wrong with you? This is why I fucking hate her. Her first line is misidentifying the obvious Prince Valiant wig. Don't be a fucking idiot if you're going to be that vapid. Sorry, that's me.
Yeah, I have enjoyed a lot of Greg Araki stuff, and I didn't really enjoy this. Sorry, T. Just yeah, it didn't work for me at all. I didn't really like Robertson. She just didn't feel. I don't know. I think it's the style of the film as well. It's cutting back to her talking. Like she didn't really have the kind of energy or maybe like mood, or I wasn't convinced she had the kind of interestingly slanted worldview that a lot of Araki characters have in his other stuff, in his better stuff. So she was just really bland. Um, Jonathan Sheik and Kiesler are good together in their scenes, but again, like sort of separately, they're not really very interesting. They're not given enough to do because they are forced to be in this orbit around Robertson. And so that drags it down. And I don't know, like this feels like a serious misstep for Araki. It's almost as if he's tried a bit too hard to repackage his kind of sensibilities and his usual sort of messaging into something that I don't want to say it isn't edgy enough, but it it just doesn't have the same attitude as like most of his other stuff. The stuff that works better, because the stuff that works better from Greg Araki, whether you end up liking it or not, certainly always feels like an absolute 100% Greg Araki film that is like his best stuff is almost like pushing out to the edges of the screen and wanting to kind of give you the middle finger while also sitting there just diddling itself while we watch. That for me is the essence of a Greg Araki film, and this didn't have that. I agree. McDonald is like she's there. I think she's underused again. Her character's quite annoying. It's odd, and I agree with the general sentiments about Eric Mabius, who is an actor who has generally worldwide zero fans, particularly for his work in the Crow series, apart from Tyler, who has a small shrine in a section of his Crow cupboard that has Eric Mabius in there. Damn it, Tyler. This is
Actually, Eric Mabius as well, not like pictures of him. He's
yeah.
sat down, cross-legged.
Yeah.
Tyler brings him dog treats, and he's got nothing better to do.
Yeah, pretty much. I believe that is part of Tyler's day-to-day schedule. Instead, it's
Gotta go feed
Morbius time.
Mabius.
It's Mabius time. I like I don't know if this would have felt better with better casting. It's difficult to say because they're not terrible with what they're given, but I also think they don't help anything. So it's kind of for Araki, it's middling to weak material from him, and then the performances don't do anything to lift it up or distract you from it. So I was looking forward to this. I was hoping to really like this, and I just didn't. I found it really quite it was dull, unfortunately, throughout, and like I know this will be blasphemous to all of you, but I was sitting there being like, as much as I was watching Anaconda thinking I could just rewatch Tropic Thunder, I've not watched Tropic Thunder again. I was watching Splendor. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had more fun watching Threesome. I could just watch Threesome again. At least that had Lara Flynn Boyle in it, and I enjoyed her.
That the Stephen
So,
Baldwin one?
yes, it
Okay.
is. And it's it's not a Greg Araki film, but it's also not Splendor. So I think I would have preferred to sit down and rewatch that. I'm sorry, I just, yeah, I didn't get on with this one. And as I say, I like a lot of Araki stuff. I think I like this one less and perhaps least of all I've seen from him, because to me, it did feel sort of least like his pure Arakiness that he can often just like absolutely shoot into your eyeballs. That's me.
Greg Araki is one of my filmmaking heroes, so nothing I'm going to say here will surprise anybody. But yeah, I love this movie dearly. For me, it's one of the best rom-coms out there. But at the same time, it really never follows the typical rom-com tropes, but then sometimes it does, but in like the most club kid Greg Araki way possible, making his version of like a 30s screwball style romantic comedy drama. I love the way this movie was shot and edited. It's got Araki's trademark candy colored aesthetic, his wonderful just chaotic energy, and just everybody's wardrobe in this is just fantastic. When you watch an Araki movie, everybody is dressed just amazingly well. I love the wardrobes in his films. But one of my favorite shots in the movie is during Veronica and Abel's first date, with them sitting at a table talking, and you see the same conversation happening right behind them in the same frame in this like surveillance style camera. I love the footage in that scene, and I fucking love that shot. It's such a cool shot in this movie. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this also might be one of the first films to depict a poly relationship, right? I mean, besides threesome, which I just totally forgot about until Kevin mentioned it. But yeah, this might be one of the first to have a polyamorous relationship front and center in a rom com, which I love. I mean, it's because it's a Rocky, it's super positive, which warms my heart. Even in 1999, this feels way ahead of its time, and I just love that so much. But I love the cast. I think Kathleen Robinson is a great lead. I adore her in this, and I loved her narration. I loved all her little narration bits throughout this movie. I don't know, it worked for me, but my love for her just goes like way back to the original 90210, which I was a big fan of, and her. I was a big fan of that show and her in it. So, but Jonathan Sheck and Matt Kessler are also great. Love them. Love the chemistry those three had together. Love Kelly McDonald as her quirky best friend. Her dog was fucking adorable too. Like I love that little tuxedo he had on during the end. Just fucking adorable. And here we go. But Jesus Christ, I did not mind Eric Mabius in this movie. I have zero shame about this.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I don't have a fucking shrine to Eric Mabius. I mean, granted,
Uh-huh.
he's no Vincent Perez, the guy that was in the best Crow movie, but he's in the fourth best Crow movie, which is Salvation.
Isn't there only 4 Crow movies?
No, there's 5.
There's the
shit, you're
remake.
right.
Yeah,
I forgot about the remake. I
yeah,
forgot
there's
about the
5.
remake. You're right. Shit. That's
Yeah,
that's on me. That's on
I
me.
put him under I put him under Sarsgaard, but he's still a solid Crow. But he's no Vincent Perez, unfortunately, which is the best Crow. But yeah, this also has like a really great like shoegaze pop soundtrack. You get like Slow Dive and Chapter House and Lush. I was actually listening to this soundtrack on the way home today. It's so good. But yeah, I think this movie is fucking adorable. It might be the most accessible Greg Araki movie, but for me, it's still 100% him. Craig's comment on this being his version of Hairspray is actually like really fucking accurate, because if you watch like John Waters movies prior to Hairspray, you wouldn't think that movie could come from that man. And the same thing for Splendor. Yeah, I love this movie a lot, and I'm just a huge fan of it. One of the best rom coms ever, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm gonna throw myself on the sword for this one. I assume that you were done there with that because that
Yeah,
sounded
yeah,
final,
yeah. All good.
right? So the other film we watched was the 1989 satanic horror film Moonchild by no-budget auteur Michael J. Murphy. I'm doing this because I figured I have to redeem myself. I did watch it, even if I brain farted earlier in this episode. So this is about a young woman named Sarah Jane who takes the job as I guess she's transcribing for an author writing an occult book. While working for the creepy man in a wheelchair, Sarah Jane begins having strange dreams about a satanic ritual and is soon drawn into a web of corruption and intrigue. I really liked Moonchild. Like, it has its weaknesses. It's a little goofy, and it's a little. The ending is wild. Like, I did not. Bits I kind of guessed, but I didn't expect it to go where it goes entirely. I think the cast is not good, but it's a Michael J. Murphy film, so you kind of just run with it. I think this was obviously shot on 16 millimeter, and it looks fine. There's a nice weird vibe. There's a solid synth score. The performances are off kilter enough to give the inhabitants of Somerset Island a run for their creepy money. I kind of really enjoyed this. I had an absolute blast. I think the only weak part for me was lead Judith Holding. I just don't think she was strong enough to pull it off. And of course, she was in Atlantis, the last Michael J. Murphy film we watched, and I think she's in quite a few of his other films. I kind of enjoyed the shit out of this, and thank you, Kevin, or I would have not gone back to the Michael J. Murphy. It's a good time for me, and maybe only for me. The more I think about it. But I know probably Craig too. I love that let's go put on a show vibe, and this is just, it reeks of it in spades. And he might not have had any money, but you can't say that Michael J. Murphy didn't have a lot of ambition.
I'll go T.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go T.
So I was like scared shitless going into this because the last Michael J. Murphy movie we watched was Atlantis, and that was a big old pile of shitty poop. I hated that fucking movie. I didn't hate Moonchild. It's not good at all. I mean, it's fucking atrocious actually. The acting is horrendous, but it has a suitably weird vibe that I kind of dug. I mean, the dream sequences felt like knockoff shoestring budget Ken Russell, but if Ken Russell had no talent at all. But I mean, I guess they kind of worked for this particular movie. And I like the score. The score was good. And it does have some like okay-ish stuff sprinkled throughout. But my problem is Michael J. Murphy. He just sucks. I hate speaking ill of the dead. I know he passed, but he's just not a good filmmaker. I put him in the same fucking camp as like Neil Breen and the dude who made Night Beast. I know people love those movies, like especially Night Beast, but I don't get it. I personally don't get it. I never will, and it's just Michael J. Murphy is just, I'm not the audience for this guy or any of these people. It's poorly shot, poorly acted. That fight choreography is fucking so laughable. And the sound design is like really bad too. It's a terrible movie with a good concept that literally anybody else behind the camera could have made work. Like Ken Russell, for example. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of Michael J. Murphy. But I didn't hate this one like I hated Atlantis. It's not good, and I would never watch this again. But for the two Michael J. Murphy movies that I've seen so far, I would pick this over Atlantis. So I guess that's a plus, I guess.
You feel a sweep coming.
I can't believe you're so mean after saying nice things about Eric Mabius. I mean, Jesus, dude.
Oh, I don't have a shrine to Michael J. Murphy, so.
I do, and it has your hair in it.
I get Kevin's whole plan here, because Kevin knows I spent about £70 on a Blu-ray set of Michael J. Murphy's films. He knows I spent a lot of money. He knows I'm gonna get into some deep denial with this one. I'll be like, oh no, it's not bad. No, it's fine. I like some stuff about it, and yeah, it's I have seen worse, and it is fine. And I did like some stuff about it, I think, or I'm in deep denial because of all the money I spent. I don't know, but I thought it was I thought it was okay. I really liked the font of the opening credits. That was probably my favourite part. But there's other stuff. There's other stuff. Like I can see the film. I can see in my head the film that Michael J. Murphy's trying to make that he hasn't got the budget for, and frankly hasn't got the skill for. But I can see it. I can see what he's going for. Like, but there's some nice shot composition, and there's some kind of discomforting camera work. It's kind of off balance, and it gives everything quite this kind of eerie, woozy atmosphere. Like in terms of atmosphere, this is it's pretty strong, and I like the hallucinatory devil worship dream sequences. I really enjoyed those because everything about this film is very, very quaintly English. You got like Morris dancing, you got a stuffed badger, and that's it really. That's all native English culture represented in this movie. So I like that when it comes to the devil worship stuff, the aesthetics are they suggest something like kind of more ancient and alien rather than just typically English, and it looks a bit silly and cheap, but I like the fact that it feels so odd. It feels there's a creepy element to it, and I like those sequences. I think the gore effects are pretty good. That slit throat gushed like Tyler next week when we do the sex work special. Um, yeah, the synth score. Everyone's mentioned the synth score, and that is it's pretty strong. It's got like some homespun charm. The fight scene that Tyler didn't like, he is wrong about. That fight scene is literally incredible. Literally incredible in that it is not credible. Nothing that's happening in that scene is credible. But I really, really enjoyed it. This film is like mostly a mix of I admire the effort and that was awful and I loved it. So there's stuff that I thought was not great, but no, I like they tried and I'm giving them credit for it. And the stuff was just outrageously shit that I giggled at. But my issues are the acting and the dialogue are like porno grade, and I'm talking like if you get a porn director who thinks he's Stanley Kubrick, we're getting everyone's like 100th take at like 4 a.m. when everyone's like soft and dry and not horny anymore. Those are the takes that we're getting. Like no one's really putting any effort into the acting side of things or the dialogue delivery side of things. The pacing is bad, and there's a lot of padding. Like there's a lot of people just staring ominously at each other and their surroundings. A lot of staring. I wonder if perhaps they put their film together and it was only about an hour long, and they went back for staring pickups and got about another 20 minutes of just looking at stuff and finding it creepy. I think the main problem with this film though is that it is possibly the least engaging story I've ever encountered in a motion picture. Like I've never given less of a shit. Like the protagonist is super super dull. There's a character with the same name that's in a mental hospital, and that actress gives a performance 100 times better than the lead. So I don't know why they didn't swap places. The obvious villain is like painfully obvious. So like no surprises. You know exactly where this film is going the whole way through. You know where it's going, and you don't care, but it's going there. But I mostly enjoyed it, and I liked the silly kind of Halloween prop finale. It was very silly. It's got lots of weird neon overlay cheap effects that you might see in a Dondola film, which is always going to win me over. So it was fine. It was fine. I don't regret watching it, but I wouldn't buy it because I already have. So I'm hoping like it was fine. I hope some of his films are better because God, that box set was pricey. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I inadvertently started with one of his films that was one of the better ones, I think, and that was Torment. I think that's the one after this. I think in a row there's Atlantis, then Moonchild, then Torment, or Moonchild, Atlantis, and Torment, because you can see a kind of a
Well, all
slight
the reviews
development.
all the reviews I read say this is when his filmmaking skills sort of stepped up a notch, which is
Yeah, I mean, you can
worrying.
see that from a basic technical level. You can see that, like in terms of, he likes to. He obviously found out about the trick of you can film stuff in mirrors and have the camera slightly to the side, so it's not seeing the mirror, and that could be considered impressive to people who, you know, forget how mirrors work or something. But that's he does that here. He does it once or twice in Torment. Like, yeah, Torment is a better film. I I mean, I liked Moonchild for what it is. It is silly. It's kind of a film version of the sort of cheesy, some of the cheesy British horror books you could get from this period that are trying to have bits of American, like, thrills and excitement in there, but grounded in the really British setting. That's that's the best way I can describe it. Like, this to me feels like, a bad book by James Herbert or Graham Masterton, or someone who I started reading in the 80s.
Garth Marenghi.
Well, yeah, there's a hint of Megan, and that's it. He's in that mold, but like it's not good, but I think it is. You can. I think it's interesting to watch Michael J. Murphy's movies and see what he does try to do in terms of, like, breaking through those obvious limitations, as Craig says, in terms of the sort of the budget resources and the skill set. And I don't think he's entirely unskilled. I think, that that is dragged down by what he's got around him and who he has to use for the cast. I don't think Judith Holding is a particularly strong lead, but she's okay. I mean, it's maybe difficult to work with this kind of material and have faith in some micro budget filmmaker just putting this together is something decent. The guy that plays Steve, Alan Jansen, was obviously happy to play the biggest prick of 1989 on film, and maybe wanted to be Scott Adkins before Scott Adkins was a thing, but then just looks like he was cut out of an episode of Emmerdale for being too drunk and leery, and that's what it was. But he does that really extended, drawn out fight scene that Murphy wants to use in the film. It's 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 a tangent, and it's not a good one. Now, because of the nature of Michael J. Murphy movies, I know not to let little things like logic and proper continuity bring me down. But did I forget any proper resolution for the character of Steve? Or does he just not come back into it? But I
No, he's a
think.
Satanist.
Oh, is he there at the end?
Yeah, he's there at the end. He's a
Right,
Satanist.
Yeah,
okay,
he's there.
so, by that point, there's just a crowd of people. But I was like, was the last thing I saw of Steve like him having a fight and then being like, "Let's get you home, love," kind of thing, and that was it. I was like, was that his entire
He
story
was
arc?
also in the bar in a couple scenes. Like he's there. You just fell asleep. You weren't paying attention, Kevin.
Right, okay. I mean, if he was in other scenes after that, I'm surprised they didn't make more of a deal about it, because he was a mega prick for his time. As soon as he appeared on screen, I was just like, I want him to get one of the maybe 2 or 3 gory deaths that could be in this, if Michael J. Murphy has enough tomato sauce left. That's, I guess, you can't have everything. Yeah, I like, as much as Craig enjoys making us watch Neil Breen, and he likes the works of Don Dore, I have that same soft spot for Murphy, and that box set is a wonderful thing, because you can see, like, you can actually see growth and development. And as I said to you guys in the chat, I I think when Murphy makes his movies, he is always trying to make a movie. He's not just trying to make like a vehicle for himself, or a vehicle for, a couple of actor friends that he, is wanting to always push ahead of everything else. He comes up with story ideas that are, a, a bit maybe either odd or out of time for when and where they were made. He does his best with what he's got, but I appreciate that he's always aiming to serve the film. Whether or not he can do that is a completely different thing, and I think we'd all agree that he often can't. He just can't manage to get there. But I have more respect for him and enjoy watching his work more than when we've watched Neil Breen films, and Neil Breen films seem to all be about Neil Breen. And it's like whatever Messiah mission he's given himself in that film. So that's why Murphy appeals to me so much more. And I don't know, every now and again I have to actually kick my own ass to watch another one. That's it, because they aren't films that you'll really rush to when you want to, watch some hitherto undiscovered gem, or just an untalked about British classic. But I think they do offer something quite rewarding for a viewing experience for those who are digging through his filmography. And on the plus side, if Tyler is in pain and has to go and spend 10 minutes crying on the shoulder of Eric Mabius again, then that's always a bonus.
Yeah, this is all part of his evil plan to make you a fan of Michael J. Murphy. He's going to drop one, you're going to be like, oh, wow, that was really good. I really liked that. And then your whole world will crumble, Tyler.
I mean, I want it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming. Just
Maybe.
wait.
I would like it. It hasn't happened with Neil Breen or Don Dohler, but maybe.
We only watched one Dohler, and you took so much umbrage to it that we just kind of
No, I think
eased away.
Did
we
we
do
Fiend
two
as well?
Did we? No, I don't think we did.
I've
maybe I'm wrong.
seen that one he did. What the fuck? The '85 one, Galaxy Invader. I think I've seen that one.
I think we've done 3. I think we've done Galaxy Invader and Fiend.
Yeah, we did do Galaxy Invader. I don't remember doing Fiend though. I was hoping that we could slip them back in, and Tyler had forgotten. You bastards!
I did forget
can't remember
Galaxy.
Galaxy Invader. I remember, was Fiend the one with the weird dangerous neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously Night Beast. But I can't remember.
It's time to pick one.
I'm going with.
Oh, please.
I'm going to go with Splendor.
I'm
Even if I
going
did
with
make
Splendor.
up what I liked about it in my own head, but I liked it.
Yeah. Since
Splendor.
Craig made up what he liked about Splendor in his own head, I'm going with Moonchild. I'm not saying either is good. I just had more fun with Moonchild. I wish I had more fun with Splendor, but Eric Mabius got in the way, and there was a better fight scene in Moonchild than all of Splendor.
Sorry. I just got an image of Tyler being like, Eric, cradle me in your crow arms again. He's just like super glued bin bags to Eric. Maybe it's his arms. Or maybe he's rustling away while he tries to hug Tyler. Like, let me out. Set me free. Sorry. But
Gotta get
after
that
that,
life-size crow put to good use somehow.
after that imagery is gone from my head, I go for Moonchild. I genuinely liked it more, and like I would be tempted to agree with Dave in that I didn't think either film was good, but as I say, I find more to dig into and appreciate in Moonchild for what's being said by the author of the material.
So, guess what, guys? Next
It's
week is
time-
our special, and
The
since
Michael J.
Yes.
Murphy special, baby.
not quite. I mean, I know we all know it's coming someday.
Yeah.
But no, next week it's a sex worker special because Tyler picked it out. So Tate, if you could remind us of the titles and who's got the last pick, if you could give us the final film.
My pick was House of Pleasures. Dave's pick was Salon Kitty. Greg, what was your pick again? It was a documentary, right?
Kokomo City.
Which just looks
Kokomo.
depressing as fuck.
It's not. I mean, there are
And
depressing parts
Kevin-
of it. But...
Did Kevin say his? I don't remember if he said his or not.
No.
Okay.
Kevin's.
I am bringing the sunshine and rainbows with 2022's Holy Spider.
Nice.
Ooh.
Not
Tate, do
really
you wanna give-
sunshine and rainbows, by the way, just in case anyone misunderstands it.
No, I'm gonna let T give him the business because I can never remember all of it.
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and watch Kevin's awesome videos. We have a Discord, we have a Blue Sky, and you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
Excellent. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, catch you next week, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
What the hell was that?